Good afternoon, everybody. Today I am hauling sand into our sand room. I said in the last video, bring it on. Winter, -40 could come tomorrow. We'd be ready. I was wrong. I totally forgot. We still got to get sand in our sand room. And I was planning on doing that today, tomorrow, the next day. It's kind of a couple day thing. But we got to get that in before that cold winter shows up. So that's what I'm working on today. Hey, lick the camera if you think everyone should like the video. So we're using our Case 721F wheel loader. It's a 2014. I think we got it last spring. It's a solid wheel loader. It's a bit bigger than our New Holland, and we like to use this one for moving sand quite a bit better than that New Holland. It doesn't have the long reach on there, which makes it a bit bigger for digging into dirt. It's a lot stronger. It's got some more horsepower. Doesn't lift as high, so when I'm filling our freightliner tandem here, it's actually a silage truck. We're just scooping, I think, 4 loads of dirt into it and then ripping back. We're not filling it completely full. But this wheel loader with the shorter arms than the New Holland, it's quite a reach for this box here to get it up and over the edge. But it's working for us now, and we're able to haul dirt back and forth. Like I said, we're not filling this truck completely full. It wouldn't tip the box back anymore. This thing full of sand, way too heavy. It's made for silage, not dirt. And so we're just keeping it 4 buckets, and we should be safe like that. So that's what one of these boxes, that's how full I'm filling it. Notice there's quite a bit more in the back, just because if I put it in the front of the box, it's a lot harder to lift back. So yeah, we just gotta be conscious about not filling this thing too full. Let's hop up into our freightliner here. This is one of our 2 silage trucks, and we use them for all different kinds of jobs around the farm, hauling seed and fertilizer in the spring, silage during the summer, and we haul grain off the combine with these trucks as well. And now we're actually using our freightliner, the older one, to haul sand. Our other truck is an International. It's quite a bit newer than this older freightliner, but it's got air ride or air suspension, airbags in the back. And we kind of think this one's better for hauling sand. We think the hoist is a bit stronger to dump the sand out of the box, and it kind of just rides a bit more solid, and it's probably just better for hauling dirt. That's what we think, so that's why we're using this one instead of that one. But this one is a manual 10-speed transmission, and the International is an automatic. I don't really care. I kind of learned to shift in one of these trucks with this truck, so I'm not the greatest at shifting, but I can get up and going, which is good. So yeah, let's see how it goes. Push button start, real fancy. Look at that. She quits beeping at me, we'll pull away here. This, pushing this in, takes the park brake off. We're gonna clutch in, pull back to gear 1. She might jump a bit. There she goes. Our sand pit right now, it's literally just at the back of the field that the barn is sitting on. So a couple 100 yards, maybe 500-600 yard drive or something like that, maybe a kilometer or something. Not too far at all, which is nice. We're also just trying to take only the sand out of this pit. Big thing last year that happened was I took too much clay out of this pit. If I dig too deep, we start to come into some clay, whereas if I just stay a little bit more shallow, we're only gonna pick up sand. Why does that even matter? We don't want clay in the barn. Apparently it's worse for udder health for the cows. This sand needs to be pure sand, and we don't want any organic material. So the less weeds, the less sud or grass or anything that's not pure sand, we just try and keep that out and only take the clean sand. So that's what we're really focusing on. So just not digging too deep. It's pretty simple. So I've now dumped 2 loads right in front of the sand room. There's quite a bit of concrete, kind of comes right up to there. And now I'm just gonna drive here with the wheel loader. I'll take a full bucket in the wheel loader as well, and then we'll push those 2 up into the sand room. Unfortunately, we can't dump into the sand room while we're in there. The roof's just not high enough, and we would hit the roof with the box. We definitely don't want to do that. So we just have to dump them in front, but it still goes fairly quick, so I don't really mind that much. So we just ripped the loader out to the sand room. Like I said, we take a full bucket because we got to drive from the sand pit all the way out here. Might as well take a bucket, save a little bit of time in the long run. And then we got the 2 semi loads here, pretty decent sized. And then we're just pushing them up with the wheel loader into the sand room here. I'm trying to push it up as high as I possibly can without touching the roof. Don't want to put the bucket through the roof. Big no-no. But we do get it stacked up pretty high. I mean, if you guys can see, I don't know, it's kind of hard to tell how high that is. It's probably 15 feet high. It'll hold a lot of sand, and the higher I can push it up, the more we're gonna get in here. So that's really what I'm just trying to do. You can see the concrete does end right there, right outside of the sand room here. So I'm really trying constantly to keep those loads on the concrete, because if I get them off of the concrete, I'm gonna hit the edge of the bucket into the concrete, and that's not so nice. It doesn't take a lot for this loader to pull some concrete up. Definitely want to avoid that. I got those 2 loads pushed up into the sand room. I want to make sure there's no big ridges left, just so that I don't have to hack over them with the tandem truck there. That'd be pretty hard on it. We're just finished up for the first day of filling this sand room up. Hopefully I can finish it off tomorrow. We'll see how it goes. Something could break down and we might not be able to, but we'll see. Park the loader in the sand room here and the truck in the shed. It's nice in here, it'll stay a bit warmer, and I'll come right here tomorrow morning and grease this thing and then start it up from there. But I want to get this door closed to the sand room overnight because it is going to dip quite a bit down below zero tonight. And just to keep the barn warm, we have to close this door. But on the edges of the door here is all sand. So we got to get rid of that first, scoop it away so that we can get this door closed. Got this chisel at the back of the barn. I could go run and grab a shovel, but by the time I grab that, I'll already have it done with this thing. So get at her. Good morning, everyone. I already got the truck to the sand pit there, warmed it up. We're gonna use this grease gun, service the loader. We're also gonna check the oil in this thing before I start it up. It's got an electric opening hood, which is pretty sweet. Now we check the oil just back here. So that's looking pretty good. A little bit dark, but at least there's enough in there. I'm gonna get this thing greased and then we'll head out to the sand pit. So right here there's a grease circ. It's pretty important, can't forget it. And there's also one right here on the bottom. Those two are on the articulating point of this loader. So those are constantly going. There's some massive pins in there. And yeah, the whole loader kind of pivots on those 2 points right there. So they get a ton of wear. And those are some of the most important grease circs on this entire loader. So down here again, in the PTO, there's some grease circs as well. And they're pretty nasty. You gotta be really lucky if they're pointing the right way when you wanna grease them. But they are perfect right here, so that's awesome. I say those main pivot points on this loader are the most important ones, but realistically, every single grease circ on this loader needs to be greased once a day, at least when we're doing a job like hauling sand, because it's constantly moving all day long, and if you're not gonna grease it, it's gonna wear down real quick. So we didn't get any snow overnight, but it got super foggy, and it made everything look super frosty, so just looks like a winter wonderland out here and we don't even have any snow. Crazy. All right, so the sand room is about 2/3 full now, and that's awesome. It's been going pretty good. Maybe by the end of today we'll finish it yet, but we're running out of exposed sand here. Basically, before we can scoop the sand out of this pit here, we got to scrape off the top layer of topsoil and sud. Sud is just like the top layer of soil where the weeds and the grass have grown, and there's a bunch of roots mixed in there, and it kind of clumps the soil together. We don't want any of that crap in the sand room. We don't want it in our beds. So we basically have to clear off a new section of sand so that we can bring it away and bring it up into that sand room. We're all out of exposed sand. So basically what I'm thinking we're gonna do, I'm just gonna take these piles of topsoil and sud. We scraped it off here, put it there before. Now I'm gonna push it into this pit here, and then we'll take from this section here. Great, so we got all of that big ridge pushed into the sand pit there. It's all clay underneath it, so that's fine. We're never gonna dig that up again, hopefully. But now we have this entire area of clean sand. You see, this is some pretty nice looking stuff. Super light, and that's exactly what we want. We know this is perfect sand. This is just phenomenal looking stuff. It's basically sandbox sand, so that's what we're doing today. We're playing in a big fat sandbox. Well, there's a little notification on the screen there. Looks like I'm low on diesel exhaust fluid, and we're gonna go and top that up right now. We also need some diesel, so that's fine. We'll top that up right away as well, and get everything filled up. So fuel's topped off, got quite a bit of def in there, and of course it starts raining. Okay guys, we are stuffing the last little bit of sand in this sand room that we possibly can fit. Right now I'm just trying to work it up higher and higher. We got to watch out for that door, especially with the loader bucket. Don't want to smash into that and wreck anything. So it's just a game. Trying to get as much in there as possible, and I still gotta remember to leave enough room here so that we can still get out with the skid steer. It's getting really tight in here. I'm gonna have to use that skid steer in a bit here to kind of clean a little bit of this up. Hopefully I can still keep it all in this sand room. Maybe I could flick a little bit in that corner yet somewhere, but there's still a little bit out here, a couple ridges, but we got most of it in there, and that sand room is looking packed. We're still gonna try and stuff it up a little bit more in there though. Especially with that new bed buster tool that we've been using recently, the sand has been getting kicked out of our beds a lot quicker than it used to, so we're burning through a lot more sand than we used to in the beginning of this barn, which means we don't know if we're gonna be able to make it to spring with this sand room being full. So we're just taking precaution, you know, making sure that we stuffed the most amount of sand in this sand room as we could at the beginning of winter, so that we can kind of save ourselves from needing to go and dig it up in the middle of winter when we got to dig through, you know, how many feet of frost. We don't want to be doing that, so we're just stuffing this thing as full as possible. Okay, so we got a couple of small ridges and we got to kind of clean it up in there a little bit. I'm going to be doing the rest of that with the skid steer. It's just kind of a smaller machine, a little bit more forgiving, a little more agile, and I can get in here and clean it up. Awesome, well I used the skid steer there for a bit, but Dima, he's gonna scrape the second group there and he needs it now. So we're gonna have to come back to this in a little bit and finish cleaning it up here at the sand room. So in the meantime, I'm gonna clean out the bucket here of the loader, and I'm also gonna clean the box of the truck out. Make sure there's no sand in either one of those. We finished cleaning the loader bucket and the truck box out there. Now we're just gonna clean everything up that we need to in the sand room here, finish up. They're done with the skid steer now, so that's good. What a dirty job. So if you're a new viewer here, you're probably wondering, why do you guys have a massive room and fill it right full with sand right on your barn? You can see it's right there, and then here's the freestyle barn. The answer to that is we have sand beds. It's what the cows lay on. It's the bedding we use. It's the bedding we chose when we built the barn, and it's worked pretty good for us. Well guys, if you've made it to the end of the video, comment down below, sand room's full, because that is another big job that we got done. And thanks for watching today's video. If you liked it, be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons down below. Check out the Instagram @SaskDutchKid, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.